It might not be international toe wrestling or chasing a roll of moldy cheese down a hill, but soccer still has plenty of seriously strange aspects to it. It's the world game, and that means its players are always in the global spotlight. Sure, Lionel Messi isn't allowed to touch the ball with his hands, and Kylian Mbappe can't tackle with his studs up. But those are the boring rules. Screw those. We're here to venture into the wild and wacky sides of soccer players' contracts and delve into some rules that just seem a little, well, peculiar. Anyway, there's a lot of rules that just don't make a whole lot of sense. Want to fly to the moon? Too bad, you can't. Feeling like a quick ski trip? Ha! I don't think so. Want to unleash your inner cannibalistic tendencies on the field? Don't even think about it. So let's strike this one into the top corner and dive, Neymar-style, straight in. Picture this. You're swimming off the beautiful coast of Australia on a well-deserved holiday. Suddenly, out of nowhere, you feel something take a vicious bite of your thigh. Is it a shark? Nope, it's Luis Suarez. The Barcelona striker and Uruguayan national player is a notorious nibbler. In fact, you're more likely to be bitten by Luis Suarez than a shark. In all seriousness, this crafty striker has sunk his chompers into 3 different players over the years and has garnered a rather unfortunate reputation as a result. The most recent bite, as well as the most famous, was in the 2014 FIFA World Cup. The victim, Italian defender Giorgio Chiellini. The Hungry Hippo served a 9-game suspension from the Uruguay national team, plus a 4-month ban from any football-related activity. Thankfully for Suarez, this didn't include playing FIFA at home on his couch. Biting isn't the only instance of Suarez's misconduct either. Back in 2011, when playing for Liverpool in the UK, he was formally charged by the Football Association for arguments with Manchester United defender Patrice Evra. The Barcelona president, Josep Maria Bartomeu, actually tried to deny the rumors of a no-biting clause. However, after being quoted as saying, "If the clause did exist, we wouldn't say it, but it doesn't exist," all he ended up doing was contradicting himself and increasing suspicion. Our next professional soccer player may not have tried feasting on anyone on the field, but it seems like he certainly had a rather unfortunate habit of eating too much off of it. The player in question? None other than old-school British tough nut Neil Razor Ruddock. Over the years, he proved himself as one of the toughest players in the game and was even officially voted as the 17th hardest footballer of all time. His toughness sometimes went a little too far, at one stage taking out both of Andrew Cole's legs with a single tackle. The reason? He just didn't like him. But toward the end of his career, Ruddock's reputation started to change. By the time he signed to Crystal Palace in the year 2000, he was starting to look more like Homer Simpson in a muumuu than a pro soccer player. Because of his bulging belly, Crystal Palace actually added a rule in his contract stating that he needed to stay under 99.8 kilograms. If he didn't, then the club would take 10% of his salary. Despite the clearly stated rule, in only 6 months at the club, he was fined 8 times for carrying excess weight. And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, Razor even missed his debut match because he couldn't find a pair of shorts big enough for his bulging booty. Ruddock might have been sporting a few extra pounds, but our next player is chiseled out of pure gold. Sliding in at number 3 is Thiago Silva, the Brazilian center defender and Paris Saint-Germain captain, with a history of unnecessary comments. Before he moved to PSG, the French club wanted to make sure that Silva wouldn't cause any issues. PSG created a list of ethical-related obligations that Silva was forced to adhere to. If he decided that the rules were for dummies and ignored them completely, he would have to fork out some serious cash as penalty for breaking any of these rules. The long list includes things like no negative media comments, no religious comments that make the club look bad, no being a meanie pants, always being friendly toward the fans, and no selling his soul to the devil in exchange for a donut. Alright, moving on. Some of us grow up as kids with wild dreams of rocketing to the moon as an astronaut, while others always wanted to be professional athletes. The sad reality is that you can't do both. Yep, even if you're rich enough and already have a ticket to space, too bad, you're staying on boring old Earth. This is actually 100% true. It really happened. The dude in question was Swedish soccer star Stefan Schwarz. Back in 1999, Stefan Schwarz was considering signing himself up for one of the first commercial flights into space. But as soon as Sunderland found out, they came up to Stefan and were like, no space for you. So officially, Schwarz could board international flights, but anything intergalactic had to wait until his contract had come to an end. Coming up at number 5, we've got a rule that just seems a bit cruel, to be honest. No player wants to get injured. Sure, injured players don't mind spending a few hours boosting their own stats on FIFA, but it's not quite enough motivation to get themselves hurt in the first place. In the case of Radamel Falcao, one of the best players to come out of Colombia, the weird clause in his contract is a case of literally adding insult to injury. The backstory is that Falcao had a pretty ouch-worthy knee injury back when playing for Monaco in 2014, courtesy of this dangerous tackle, which tore his ACL and ruled him out of the 2014 World Cup. When the star attacker signed with Manchester United, the Red Devils explicitly stated that Falcao was not allowed to have a relapse in his knee injury, or they'd terminate his contract and send him back to his old club. Come on, guys, that's not cool. Chiming in at number 6 is one of the silkiest players of the modern game. Some consider this dude a god, and some think of him more as, well, a roly-poly caterpillar type thing that flounders around on the ground like a Magikarp out of water. You know who we're talking about, right? Yep, it's good old fancy feet Neymar. When the Brazilian star transferred over to PSG for €222 million back in 2017, there were a few hidden rules in his contract that just seemed, well, a little strange. In essence, PSG wanted to make sure that Neymar wasn't strutting around like a dickhead. But since the French league doesn't actually have a proper system to issue fines, instead of giving him the stick, they offered him the carrot. Being like, so we're gonna offer you bucket loads of extra cash just to be a little nicer, okay? Cool. If you don't talk back to the coach, we'll throw you an extra €2.5 million a year. And if you just say a quick hello and goodbye to the fans, we'll slap another $375,000 a year on top of that. Okay, bye. So there you have it. Neymar is paid to be nice. In a similar don't be a kind of vibe, Mario Balotelli also had some pretty unique rules to follow regarding his behavior. The notorious striker, who plays for the Italian national team as well as Marseille in France, has never been a stranger to the spotlight. More often than not, it's for controversial reasons. In fact, Mario recently went up to a bar owner in Naples and was like, "Yo, Mr. Bar Owner Man, I'll give you 2,000 smackaroonies if you drive your moped into the ocean." And that's exactly what he did. Of course, that's only the tip of the iceberg. He crashed his Audi N8 back in 2010 while carrying $5,000 in cash. In 2011, he threw a handful of darts at Manchester City youth team players, and in 2012, he received 4 red cards in a season. Combine this with plenty of missed curfews, arguments with teammates, and even a photo linking him to the Italian mafia, and it makes perfect sense why Liverpool forced him to sign a good behavior contract clause in 2014. Just like Neymar's, it was based on a bonus system, meaning that he would receive a shiny £500,000 check as long as he didn't do anything stupid. Lacing up the boots at number 8 is a player who not only broke the rules, but committed such a heinous act of club treason that he's currently still sitting in Azkaban guarded by the Dementors until the end of eternity. Ordinarily, that would be somewhat of an exaggeration, but not when the Real Madrid and Barcelona rivalry is involved. Okay, so this important soccer rule isn't really an official rule per se, because it really shouldn't need to be. It's don't go nuts on Twitter supporting the arch-rival club as soon as you get signed. Well, that's exactly what Sergi Guardiola did at Barcelona. Just an hour after the forward signed to the Barca B squad, he took to the interwebs and was like, "Boo Barcelona, yay Real Madrid. Boo Catalonia, yay arch-rival Madrid. Mwahaha." It's not quite a shock to learn that his contract was terminated as soon as Barca saw the tweets. Guardiola claimed that the tweets weren't posted by him. Either way, though, the club had zero tolerance toward this sort of unspoken rule-breaking. Come on, Sergi, don't bite the hand that feeds you. For this next stop in the strange soccer rule journey, we're headed up to the ski slopes. Well, technically not, because if we're talking about Stig Ignabjørneby, going anywhere near a pair of skis was strictly forbidden. When the Norwegian left-back was about to be signed by Liverpool, they said to him, "Listen up, Stiggy boy. We know that your dad was a kick-ass Olympic ski jumper, and we know that you're gonna be going home to visit him every now and then. Here's the deal, though. No skiing, no ski jumping, no après-ski shenanigans. Just stay away from the white powder altogether, okay? Cool? Good." So, if Bjorneby ever wanted to have his own Eddie the Eagle moment, well, too bad and so sad, he couldn't. It was either soccer boots or ski boots. Rounding out the list of funky rules that don't make a whole lot of sense is one that's so simple and yet so unnecessary. Rafael van der Vaart is one of the most famous and talented Dutch footballers of the last 30 years or so, having played for Real Madrid, Tottenham, Ajax, and Hamburger SV over the course of his career. You would think that a man with that kind of resume would be entitled to choose his own uniform, right? Ha! Not for a second. Well, sort of. When Van der Vaart transferred over to Real Betis in Spain, there was one rule that he was forced to follow. It was simply that he could wear any color boots he wanted, except red. Why? Because red is the devil's color. And more importantly for Real Betis, it's the uniform color of Sevilla, their local rival. That's all for 10 weird rules professional soccer players are forced to follow. Do you think these rules are fair, or are they a little too ridiculous? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to The Richest, and join our notification squad. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.